So we're going to add here in order to make sure that this expands correctly, so it's not just for a mobile device and it's always stacked in this way. We're going to use that Navbar expand, and we'll just put it at small. Now you can also add, medium or large or extra large or whatever, extra small, whatever properties you want. For now, for the sake of this, we'll just go ahead and add it as Navbar expand small. So it's Navbar hyphen expand hyphen SM. And now when I click down here, you'll see, make sure you have a space there. See Navbar expand small. Okay, so now when I click down below here just to refresh this, you'll see that now this is this, floating out here a little bit longer for your, in a horizontal fashion for your desktop. And that'll continue till you get to small. And then once you get to the mobile devices, and remember the mobile device break point is at that 576. So once you reach that 576 here, then that will collapse to the appearance of a mobile device. So that's how this Navbar expand small SM is used. Again, you can still do MD and LG and XL and XS, however you want to add that in there. Either way, for any of those, and depending on where you want the breakpoints to be, and how you want this to stack, what the stacking order is for that. All right, so next what we want to do is kind of look at, we've got kind of a problem right here because the alignment of this is inside a container, and instead of this navigation bar, the anchors and so on, they're kind of floating out here. Well, if you look up here, that's because we don't have a container here holding them. We have this div class equals navbar nav, but we don't have a container that this is being created in. So what we need to do above this div class equals navbar nav, below our nav class, we need to add a container so that then this will push this over so these are all being floated to the left. So I'm going to go in here and do that next and just say, we'll do your left caret div space class equals container. Make sure you put that in quotes. And that you spell it right. Sorry. You have to put up with all of my little issues here. All right, right caret. And then we have now, I'll just kind of indent that so you can see that. And then your classes, all these here, of course, are inside of your nav bar. So I'll go ahead and kind of tab those in there so you can get a visual of that. They don't have to be like this, but in order just for you visually to kind of be able to see this, I think it's important that you kind of do your stacking order then. Then we need a closing tag for your nav bar and a closing tag for your container here. So I'm going to put that in next. So it'll be for your navigation bar, it's going to be left caret div, left caret forward slash, and then forward slash, and then div, and then you'll do your next one here. I'm just going to copy this and paste it in down here. All right, so now you notice that when I refresh this down here, that now this jumps in and is aligned to all of this content. I've got the content in here solely so that you could see kind of what this class equals container is doing, what the properties are for the indent, to be able to contain that. And as again, as I close and open this, then you see it always, 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 always stays aligned to that R mission. And even when you collapse it for mobile devices, it's still aligned to that R mission. All right, so let me just show you a couple of the other things that I talked about was the active link. So let's say we take home here, and for this after nav link, put in here the class of active. So I'm going to just right before my quote there type in active. And now you'll see that this is highlighted. And if I put in also, you could put in, the disable if you want, something like that, so that, one of these is grayed out or whatever. But that's how you use that. I'll type that in, say here for mission or something, and just say disabled. Disabled. All right. And so now you see mission is a lot lighter than what services, staff, and testimonials are. So that ends up now you can't use that link at all. It doesn't work at all. And there might be times when you want to do that. But anyway, that's kind of, how the disabled and the active work, so that you can kind of take a look at that and see if it's something down the line here that you want to use as you're creating your website.
Right to the hill. I could see it in his shadow.
All right. Next here I have just a couple little things here that I want to show you that you can play with. I'm not going to do all of these, but some of those classes that I gave you. So for background, you could type in, instead of dark, something like faded. Well, now, it's so light that you can't see it at all. And then maybe for the nav bar here, that you could say, instead of let's see, BG faded, instead of this, say light. And so now you see that you have kind of a white background and so on. Let's do BG primary. Now it's blue. So all those colors that I showed you at the beginning, that's what you can do to kind of use it. The other thing I mentioned, that you could do class styles in here too. So let's say after, let's say instead of doing this background here, BG primary, that you wanted to just use CSS and use a class style. So you could do that at the end here, and you would just say something like style. So just like you would write it in CSS, equals, and then in quotes, background, hyphen, color. And then I'll just type in a color of something using hashtag C4226F, let's say. All right. And now it's that mauve-ish, can't even see the text there, so you'd have to change the color of text. But the point of this is that you can use CSS, use style backgrounds. You don't have to use just the basic colors. I mean, they only give you 6 or 7 colors in Bootstrap. So, you aren't limited to that. You can still go in and use your CSS styles. You could put in here red or something, just use your CSS the way, for those of you that know it, the way you would normally. So you can do that as well. But some of these other things, to control those navigation bars, you do have to use, the language, the Bootstrap language, in order to control that. All right, so in the next video, what we're going to do is cover branding, or brand, I mean, and text. So being able to put logos in here, stylize the logos, that kind of thing. So that'll be the next video.